Several minutes of commercial-free football starts now.
Here are the Purple Mortgage Guys.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Purple Mortgage Guys, coming to you on this Thanksgiving Eve before the Vikings take on the Patriots tomorrow evening at US Bank Stadium. Primetime game, NBC broadcast. We all know how Kirk does in primetime. Coming off of probably the worst loss that any of us can remember, at least at home, regular season-wise in Vikings history. Which also followed the best regular season win of all time. So we're on quite the roller coaster, having that Vikings hangover a little bit here yet on this Wednesday. But I wanted to look forward to the game tomorrow night and get some thoughts from Tanner, Goose, and the rest of the guys and see where we sit on what we think is going to happen. So Tanner, Goose, we're favored by 2.5, meaning the odds makers don't really think we're the better team tomorrow night, but we are at home. What are you guys' thoughts? What do you think? What team are we going to see is probably what I'm most interested in. Are we going to see the team that was 8-1 and gritty, or are we going to see the team that laid a complete egg last week? Tanner, I'm going to start with you today. What are your thoughts on the game for tomorrow?
The Vikings have historically played very well on Thanksgiving, so that's good to see. But I don't feel good about this game. The Patriots are kind of an old school Mike Zimmer team. They beat you playing really good defense and running the ball. Their offense is not good by any means, but what they do, like I said, play really good defense and just have some hopes of getting some big plays, and that's how they get points. And our defense has given up a lot of big plays this year, and they have a pretty good field goal kicker. It is a good thing it's at home and not in New England. We don't have to play in any cold weather. But I don't really know what to expect, because I don't know if this is going to be the Kevin O'Connell team that comes out firing like they did against Buffalo to prove the world wrong, or if this is a trend that we're going to continue to see like we did against Dallas, and we fall flat on our face, because that has happened multiple times in team history where we've had some pretty hot starts and finished the season on a negative note. So I'm hoping that's not the case. I hope this is a new regime. But we're going to find out.
We are going to find
on
out.
National television.
On national TV. And you know what? NBC, they can't go anywhere. They can't switch to another game. So we are committed for 3 hours to watch that game regardless. Yeah. So, Goose, what are your thoughts for tomorrow night?
Yeah, I hope we come together better than my hair follicles do in No Shave November. And
we're all struggling with that one.
And I think the nice thing is, as Tanner mentioned, Patriots are always a solid football team, mainly with their running game, their defense, which keeps them in every game. I think it kind of puts us in a position to not, almost for sure not get blown out. So I think it will be competitive. I think it'll look more like the 8-1 Vikings team that has flashes and maybe a couple lulls and will be in the game. Whether or not we come out with a win, we'll see, but I think we'll be in it the whole 4 quarters.
Well, I think the biggest thing for tomorrow night's game anyway is it's a short week. You've got no Christian Darrisaw, so that left side of the line without him at left tackle is going to be a problem. I think the Patriots have the second most sacks in the league coming into the game. Dallas was number 1, so not much of a breather from that end. And then our corners depth there is a huge concern. I don't know if I haven't checked this morning yet, but I don't know that Booth's even going to play. I think Caleb Evans is likely still out. Tanner, I don't know if you've got any insight on that.
They're all listed as questionable.
It's sounding like I read that Andrew Booth is most likely not going to play. It sounds like he's doubtful. But it does sound like Evans is going to play. He'll be back this week. Okay. So that does help a little bit.
It feels like it's going to be a low-scoring, ugly Thursday type of a game. I think the Jets last week against the Patriots, they scored 3 points as well, but they averaged 3 inches per play in the second half, so they were not going anywhere. So
yeah,
it's going to be a struggle to move the ball. Hopefully our offense is a little bit better than the Jets, especially at home. But after last week, it remains to be seen. So, Guys, I think we know the ups and the downs, but let's move on here with some tidbits. Tanner, you could probably give us some stats from last week, but I'm hoping that you're looking forward to the big picture. But what do you got for tidbits this week? Things that our listeners can use to impress their friends about our squad, the Minnesota Vikings here.
Yeah, we're going to kill last week's game and never talk about it ever again. So we'll focus on Patriots Vikings here. Kirk Cousins has 2 career starts against the Patriots. This will be his first career start at home against the Patriots. His other 2 were in New England. In those 2 starts, he's averaged 294 yards a game, so throwing a lot of passing yards. Just 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a 69.4 quarterback rating. So Bill Belichick's teams have always done a good job of getting after Kirk. This will be the first time since the year 2000 that the Patriots will be playing the Vikings with a quarterback under center that's not named Tom Brady. So over 20 years. The Vikings have not beat the Patriots since then. They're 0-5. This will be Mac Jones's first career start against the Patriots. He has a career record of 14-11, including 8-4 on the road. His home record is 5-7 or 6-7. I'm sorry. He actually has a better road record than better road record than home record, kind of like Kyler Murray. So the Vikings are currently 4-9 all time against the Patriots, including 2-3 in home games. The Vikings have also lost their last 4 games against the Patriots by 10 points or more. So most of the games they've played against New England and Minnesota have not been close.
But you mentioned before, this is the first time it's not been Tom Brady. So I feel like this is a different Patriots team, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. The Vikings are 3-7 all time on Thursday Night Football, including 3-2 in home games. They have won their last 2 games at home on Thursday night. They are 6-2 all time on Thanksgiving. So strong Thanksgiving record. This will be their first Thanksgiving Day game at home. They've played all 8 of their Thanksgiving games in the past on the road.
Interesting.
Than at Detroit or Dallas. So this will be the first home game in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, going to bring it up again, is 10-18 in his career in primetime games, 2-4 on Thursday Night Football.
You guys remember that game last year on Thursday night against the Steelers? Got out to that huge 22 or 29 point lead and then nearly lost it at the end.
Yeah.
Fun times.
On the flip side of that, though, this is an interesting one I'm stealing from Mr. Dusty Baker. Kirk Cousins is 5-0 in his career in Week 12 home games. He's never lost Week 12 at home.
Grasping at straws there, Tanner.
Yeah.
Another negative Kirk stat, not having a good year statistically, continues to trend downward. I don't think last week was his fault by any means. Game plan was not solid. Offensive line was horrible, but he's currently ranked 25th in the league amongst 32 active starting quarterbacks in QB rating heading into Week 12. Only Russell Wilson, Taylor Heineke, Mac Jones, who we were playing this week, Davis Mills, Baker Mayfield, Zach Wilson, and Kenny Pickett have a lower QB rating this year.
Wow.
The Patriots defense ranks number 1 in the league in yards allowed per play. So in some ways, I actually feel like this is probably the best defense we're going to play this year. Their second.
That sounds great after last week.
That's just why I don't feel good about this game. They're second in the league in sacks and pass rush efficiency and pressures. Matthew Judon of the Patriots leads the league in sacks with 13. Looks like Blake Brandel is going to be the starter filling in for Christian Darrisaw this week. He had a PFF grade last week of 31.3, I think it was. I showed that to somebody. I can't remember who it was, but just atrocious. So Kevin O'Connell's going to have his hands full trying to find a way to game plan against him. Dalvin Cook is currently 5th in the league amongst starting running backs in yards per carry. Goose probably hates that, having him on his fantasy team. Also been advocating for more touches throughout the season here. I think Kirk Cousins is like 5th or 6th in the league in passing attempts. So Not sure why we're going away from a good thing, but I'd like to also see Dalvin Cook probably get more involved this week.
You think if they would have stuck with Delvin last week, it would have been a different game? A little bit different?
Yeah,
For sure.
I think we would have scored more points, but I don't think we would have won. So
Yeah. I don't think the outcome changes, but it's for sure a different game, in my opinion.
The only other stuff I got left here is the Vikings pass defense dropped to 31st in the league, allowing 267 yards per game this year. Only the Steelers are worse. And on the Patriots end, they're top 10 for sure, arguably top 5 unit. They're 4th in total defense, 4th against the pass, 12th against the rush, and as I already stated, 2nd in pass rush efficiency. They got 36 sacks on the year, so. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a really tough game for our offense. So I don't know what to expect.
Well, there you have it. There are your Tanner tidbits, a little positive info mixed along with some concerns. Guys, this is going to be a grind of a game. It just feels like it anyway. And I think we're going to really test that. I heard Paul Allen say this years ago, and it always stuck with me. Never too high. It's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think. And I think that's really going to be tested because we have seen both ends of that spectrum within the last, 10 to 12 days here. So I'm really interested in these bold predictions. What do you guys have? What's going to happen? And then we'll go to the final score here after that. But Goose, we're going to start with you today. Give me a bold prediction with the game Thanksgiving night.
All right. My bold prediction is Dalvin Cook scores 2 touchdowns. I think the way to help Brandel in the pass offense is going to be to run the ball. He hasn't really adjusted this season yet. I'm praying that we make Dalvin a big push and keep the pass rush on their heels. And I hope that means that Dalvin's touching the ball more, and I think he finishes a few of those carries in the end zone. So Dalvin Cook with 2 touchdowns.
All right, I like it. Tanner, what do you have for us today?
Does my bold prediction have to be positive?
No, be anything. I had Cooper Rush coming in last week, guys. Just remember that. Never forget.
I really, really don't like that matchup against Matthew Judon and Blake Brandel. I'm going to say the Vikings offensive line, after giving up 7 sacks last week, gives up 6 this week at home again. I think they're going to get after Kirk. I feel like it's going to be a long day. I'll try to throw just a little bit of positivity in there. So I technically probably have 2 bold predictions here. I'll also say that TJ Hawkinson scores his first touchdown as a Viking, stealing this one in garbage time.
In garbage time.
Okay. Fourth quarter, we're down by 10-ish points, and we need to get on the board.
Tanner, you're still in that bad spot from last week. You're in a bad spot.
I don't think the Patriots are that good of a team, but I don't love the matchup.
So 6 sacks or 6 sacks or more? What's the official?
6 sacks. I'll go 6 on the dot. 6 sacks for the Patriots this week. I'll say Judon has 3 of them.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know how to follow that with all that positivity oozing from Tanner's box there on our upper left, but I'm going to go Kirk Cousins will actually have a rushing touchdown again this week, either on a sneak or rolling out or scrambling. Cousins with a TD. So I'm going to also just to counter Tanner's 6 sacks or more. I'm going to say we give up 3 or less, because it's a huge point of emphasis, obviously, with what we have to work with and how much of a disaster it was last week. So we'll see. Goose, what do you got for a final score? Vikings, like I said, are currently favored by 2.5 at home here as of Wednesday. So
all week I've been kind of chalking this up as one of our remaining losses on the schedule. Tanner's tidbits did not make me feel any more confident in picking a win. But against my better judgment, I am picking a 24-20 victory for the Vikings.
24-20. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Tanner?
I'm going to go low scoring game. I don't think there's going to be a ton of huge plays, but I think the Patriots are going to win this with good defense. I think our offense is going to continue to struggle to score points. So I'm going to say they're going to make a good effort to come back in the fourth quarter and come up just short. So I'll go 20-17 Patriots.
Okay. I'm going to go. I really think the NFL, what's crazy about the NFL is teams can look totally different from one week to the next. We just witnessed that going the wrong way. I think we bounce back. I don't think it's as pretty as maybe we would hope, but I think we get back in the win column. I'm going to say 17-13 on an extremely low scoring game, but we find a way to win. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we have to have another fourth quarter comeback to get there. So we'll go 17-13 purple. And we can have a nice long little weekend with a mini bye and maybe get back into pulling for the Eagles to lose again and have that pipe dream remain alive. So, guys, we could actually become Packers fans for one day, one night next Sunday. Is it Sunday Night Football? I think the Eagles play the Packers. If we lose, we're probably going to want the Eagles to win. But if we win, we might be jumping on that dream again. So.
I just don't think I can do it. I want to clinch the division before I decide to cheer for a Packers team.
Yeah.
If we don't win the division, this season is just totally a disaster anyway, guys.
We have seen this happen before.
I know we have, but I don't think it matters at that point.
So I want to win the division first, and then I'll cheer for the Packers the rest of the year.
No, you won't, because they don't play anybody we care about after the Eagles.
At all?
No. We're locked in unless there's a collapse. We're locked into a 2 seed.
Right.
Guys, we talked a few weeks ago about Kirk Cousins being a top 5, 6, 7 quarterback. We have it on tape, so it's not going away. Is that embarrassing at this point, or do you think it's just a one game bad little performance? Like, did Cousins take a hit in your mind after last week? Would those rankings be different?
Oh boy,
his potential this year. I think if you ask the casual fan that, they're probably going to say he's like not even close to being top 10 at this point. I think in my mind, I'm still going to take him over a good half of the majority of the league, but I don't think some of his negative play has been his fault this year. So I mean, he can't control Christian Darrisaw, the best tackle in the league, getting hurt. Correct. And then crappy Blake Brandel come in and
63% pressure rate last week.
63% pressure rate.
I don't think Josh Allen's probably looking very good in that situation either, or Patrick Mahomes. So
12 out of his 20 dropbacks he had last week, he was running for his life. That's not his fault. And Kevin O'Connell can probably receive a little bit of blame for that as well, because you have to come up with ways to get the ball into your playmakers' hands. And I don't necessarily love the fact that we went away from Dalvin Cook last week, who was averaging 6+ yards per carry. So I don't think it's his fault. I still think he's a really good quarterback, even though his numbers probably don't reflect that this year.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing about when we start stacking these episodes is we're gonna go back to some of these and start laughing, like, what were we thinking? And that, you know what? That's why we do mortgages. That's why we aren't football analysts on TV, right? So any closing thoughts?
Well, I also think like the tiny little plays that, like, you throw a touchdown pass to Hawkins in there, he catches that ball in between his hands. That's probably 3 less incompletions. It's a touchdown on the board. The rest of the game is different. So yeah, you look back at it and it's hard. I feel like I constantly have to defend, like, okay, Kirk, he's playing good football. He can win a big game. And then it happens again and it happens again and it happens again. So it's tough. I really am worried to try to think about what I'll be complaining about on Friday if we lose. I get really nervous about that, but I feel like we all know that it's going to be our offensive line. Couldn't hold up. But
Do we all agree on that? Is that what it's going to be, or is it still going to be the defense making Mac Jones look like Aaron Rodgers back there or something? Tanner's on mute. So
Goose, go ahead.
I think our defense is built for our offense to be to be successful. So when you constantly trot them out on the field after a 3 and out and a couple sacks and poor field position, they're going to look bad. So I do think what I think will happen to the offensive line if we lose, I think in turn our defense will have given up more points than they should against the New England offense that isn't very. But I think the root cause will be we're 3 and outs, bad field position, defense on the field too long. So yeah, I think main problem offensive line. Kirk's not getting the ball out quick enough.
You make a good point. Like that Pollard touchdown on 3rd and 15. There hasn't been too many of those long touchdowns that we've given up this year. It's the shell that we all hate, but the bend don't break that we all hate. But those lead to 10, 15 play drives, and they're just gassed at the end. If the offense goes back out, 3 and out or picks up maybe even 1 first down, but then the defense is back on the field for another 10 plays. I think that's where it gets out of hand, like you're saying there, Goose.
Yeah.
Tanner, anything else to add?
Yeah, my complaint, you can't really go wrong with either or unit. I guess my only defense for the offense is I know that they're capable of being better, but we are playing a really, really, really good defensive unit in the Patriots. So part of me expects they're not going to score a lot of points. So I guess my complaint Friday morning would be the fact that Mac Jones is probably very close to the bottom half of QBs in the league, and you let him move the ball on you, and we couldn't get off the field. But at the same time, the offense is going to play a part in that too. If they can't move the ball and the defense is on the field all the time, they're going to get tired.
You feel like Belichick, remember when he was it last year they played the Bills, I want to say. It was super, super windy. He just ran the ball every single time. Well, after what happened last week to us with not stopping the run, you feel like he's going to basically have that same type of game plan?
He'll test it. He's a coach that's not afraid to go away from something if he won't stop it. So if we don't stop it, I would not be surprised.
There's teams that this is what we do. This is our identity. We're going to do it no matter what. And then there's teams, which I think is Belichick, of whatever your weakness is, we're just going to keep exploiting it. So.
And that's what scares me, because Bill Belichick's probably the best in the league at doing that. He's going to exploit your weakness, and we just came off of a game where we did nothing but exploit or show our weaknesses the entire game.
Hey, but we didn't even show a strength. So
no, if you're Kevin O'Connell, you have to be just watching film, thinking to yourself, they're going to be sending 6 guys every single play.
You got to get those hot routes and those timing routes down. I think. Who I was listening to last night, I think it was maybe Purple Daily, but that's been something Cousins struggled with his whole career, is those quick timing routes. He's good at throwing it in that tight window or when guys flash open. But
I want to see Mac Jones grittying in the end zone. That's what I want to avoid.
And it's the weird Thursday night dynamic too. Those games are usually just a little bit awkward and vanilla, and I feel like that plays into Belichick though. Well, guys, there you have it. Just like the mortgage business, you got your ups and your downs. You got the 2% rates and the 7% rates, but hopefully we can just slide back in there in a normal weekend here, pick up a victory, and then start talking about the Jets next week. So have a great Thanksgiving holiday, everybody. We'll talk to you on the other side of the Patriots game tomorrow night.